the modern economy.
You say that we need ideas, we need innovation and reforms. But when you look at the general discourse within on social media, even just on the street, as much as people want reforms, but it also looks like there is this attitude of, look, I am numb. Nigerians are becoming numb, to how politics is played here. What would you say to that?
Well, they cannot. It's too. Sometimes it's darkest.
Maybe because they've given up. So continue.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's darkest before the dawn, and what we are about to witness in 2019 is the dawn of a new Nigeria. So I would say that people should not be any more disillusioned than they have been before. People are going to see a new set of candidates, unlike what they have seen before. The recycling is just about to be over, and we want all Nigerians to keep their eyes on the prize, because the worst thing anyone can do is to have, not participating fully. It's like accepting defeat before the battle, and one of the unwisest things anyone could do is to accept defeat before a battle. We have to gear up our sleeves, roll up our shoes and get out there with the confidence that a new Nigeria is about to arise. And I think that a lot of youth are also recognizing that, because it's not going to be anymore about some politician coming from Abuja and throwing cash around, I would say if people throw around the stolen monies that they have acquired, which belongs to all of us anyway, you can take it, buy yourself a drink, but you're still going to have to vote for what it takes to propel Nigeria forward. And people will know and see the differences between some of the newer candidates, such as myself, and the recycled political status quo. Because the status quo does not have anything else to give. They have given all they have.
Okay, looking at the economy, because the economy will be another critical issue we need to look at especially right now in Nigeria. It's still, we're still suffering from corruption. We're still suffering from getting things even to eat in Nigeria. People are still wondering, why are things this way? And this administration will always tell us that it's because when they came in, the treasury was almost empty. But looking at all of these things and the economy, do you think if you're given an opportunity, say you want to be Mr. President of this country, what will you be looking at? What would be your focus for Nigeria? And again, what are those leadership qualities the electorate need to see in the person for them to say, hey, this is the man we want as a president?
Yeah, well, what we have seen, just to backtrack a little bit, from the national government today, and many state governments for that matter, is an excuse-laden governance. Excuses, the oil price was this, the Libyans bring guns here, and all manner of excuses, and that is not leadership. Leadership is you take stock and you take charge of the responsibility that you have. And as you take that, you begin to execute your programs, and if you fail, the responsibility is yours. You take the blame for failing. If you succeed, of course, the whole world sees. And so what has been happening is that because of the lack of vision, many things that would have grown this economy to a level where it can begin to compete with most countries in Europe have not been done because of lack of vision. What do you mean by
lack of vision?
Okay.
Because we had all of the agenda before someone says they want to come in. So what do you mean lack of vision? Okay,
well, let me speak about the kind of programs that we are planning to execute if we take the reins of government in this country in the future, hopefully in 2019, is that one of the first things that is a problem that is holding this country down right now is insecurity. Now, it doesn't matter that insecurity is happening somewhere in Plateau or in Benue or in Taraba, as was reported recently with all the killings. In the eyes of the world, what they see is insecurity in Nigeria. And capital is a coward. Investors are cowards. Nobody's going to invest their money where they run the risk of lives and limb being chopped off or being killed. Nobody's going to do that. So the first thing we do is we'll have the political will to take charge of the security situation. And what is not happening is that we're not seeing the leadership of the country showing that they have the political will, because if it happens one time, it's probably some kind of an emergency. 2 times, 3 times is a pattern. And so that means that somebody is deciding directly or indirectly, by acting or by failure to act, not to pay the kind of attention that needs to be paid to security. And so that is the number one thing. Now, once we take care of security, our economy, it will translate back into the economy, because investors will pour through the doors of this country. The second part is that we have to take care of our electric energy and communications infrastructure, because there is no way you can build a 21st century economy on 4 or 5 hours of electricity and then everybody else buys their own power. You cannot grow an economy that way. So once we improve the economy, the electricity infrastructure of Nigeria to 20 or 24 hours, which we have the capacity, my administration, if I get into office in 2019, have the capacity to do that in 2.5 years, we will see this economy not double, not triple, but quadruple. This economy would quadruple in about 2 years, whereby investors will be beating down the door to this republic. We have the numbers, we have resourceful people, we are some of the hardest working people in the world who compete very favorably when they go outside Nigeria. And so we know that this is a critical area that needs to be taken care of. And by the way, the electric energy infrastructure also is tied to the communications infrastructure, because the rest of the world moves at the speed of light. If you have your smartphone and your device, you should be able to get any information you want to get at the speed of light in about 2 seconds. In places that I have been, in places that I have done things in, that's how everybody operates. Now, the fact that the communications infrastructure in Nigeria is slow and unreliable the way it is actually holding the country down. It's holding.
I would have to comment, because I mean, all of these things you're saying sound really beautiful, and I'm sure Nigerians now are saying, look, I've heard this before, and come when from August, where the whole electoral timetable begins, well, Nigerians will hear a lot of all of this. I mean, shouldn't Nigerians also be looking at issues of track record?
Well, okay. That's a very important observation. Well, and that is really where...
As we wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, as we wrap up, that will be where people like myself distinguish themselves, because I have not been part of the status quo in Nigeria, and what I have done is perform at an international level in a place where the standards are much more rigorous. And if I was able to operate at the role that I did when I was in the United States before I became Executive Director of the Nigerian American Council, I actually served as a Commissioner for Housing and Community Development in Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. So I bring credentials that no Nigerian leader has ever been tested on. And when I say that I'm going to do something, is because we have researched everything. We have looked at all the models, and we know what is possible. The only thing holding Nigeria down is the leadership at the national level.
Okay, in wrapping up this, because we must go now, in wrapping up this, what word do you have for the electorate right now?
Well, I would say the electorate should be on the lookout. It's a new day that is coming in Nigeria. You are going to see a crop of some candidates that are totally different from what you've ever seen before. At the national level, you're going to be seeing myself, and we are on the verge of creating a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria is about to emerge. New leadership with worldly credentials that will make the difference on what Nigeria has ever witnessed by way of leadership.
I want to thank Honorable Okey Mbonu. He was the former Executive Director, Nigerian American Council, Washington, D.C., and it's also coming up. Well, we'll get to hear that, you know, and I know that Nigeria is a place where people would like to cast their vote. But we'll watch it then as it unfolds. We're going to give you more information on that. But I want to thank you for coming on this segment of the program. We invite you someday.